and foolproof. Atma Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, this millennium's avatars, personal experience of power manifestation. Bhagavan plays the Leela to showcase how just going beyond the cognition and or detox his body, he can manifest all the powers of Paramashiva. Shakshi Pramana, the experience of the millions of disciple devotees, followers, initiated by Bhagavan in the Kailash Courtyard to receive all the powers of Paramashiva, auspiciousness and abundance and bliss and healing. Pratyaksha Pramana, the scientific study measuring the effect of being in the enlightened state. All these powers directly show that not only the thoughtless space, all these powers are authentically verified and scientifically verified. The Shastra Pramana. The Shastra Pramana for the power of consciousness over matter taken from Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. Vijnana, consciousness. Bhairava, one who experiences consciousness beyond the mind, and Tantra is the method. How you have the methods for setting up a computer or doing a physics lab, math lab, you have the same thing here, that you can experience the oneness and manifest as superconscious powers. Shastra Pramana.
The ultimate space we can live in.
The Shastra Pramana for the power of consciousness over matter, silicon, is taken from the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra, Sutra 120, Dharana 95. Kvachid vastuni vinyasya shanairdrishtim nivartayet tajnanam chitta sahitam devi shunyalayo bhavet. Kvachid vastuni vinyasya shanairdrishtim nivartayet tajnanam chitta sahitam devi shunyalayo bhavet.
Bhagavan Paramashiva says, having fixed one's eyes on a particular object, Vastu, one should slowly withdraw the sight from the object as well as slowly eliminate the knowledge of the object, the thought of the object and the impression of the object. Then, O Devi, one abides in Sunya, the state where there is nothing other than this exists, is the state of all-inclusiveness or infinity. Bhagavan Paramashiva beautifully says, when you withdraw from this materialist world, you get into that beautiful space of oneness and you can manifest as the extraordinary powers. Beautifully, when Bhishma Acharya, when he was in the deathbed, the bed of arrows, and he wanted to leave his body. Before he left his body, he can decide when to leave. Ganga Mata has blessed because he's gone beyond the fear and greed and experience the oneness. So he decides to go leave his body at his will. But before that, he sings on the Vishnu Sahasnama, the 1,000 names of Vishnu, and he picked up in 6 different dimensions and arranged it in such a profound and phenomenal way that even Krishna was completely into it, that everybody, the Panchapandavas and Krishna, simply merged into that whole space when he was singing the Vishnu Sahasnama. And nobody took note of it. Then he left his body and everybody like, oh my God, how do we retrieve it back? Nobody has the detail, and they go to Krishna and say, what do we do now? Retrieve the whole thing. That was the greatest happening and we cannot miss it. We were all in the space that we just became one with it and we did not record it. And then Krishna beautifully says, Sahadeva, go to Sahadeva. He has the blessed Spadiga Mala that he is wearing. And this Spadiga Mala is the first thing which records all that which is there in the sounds in the outer world. So Sahadeva has the power to retrieve it from the Spadiga. And beautifully the Spadiga had recorded all this Nama, and it is said that he wrote down everything from the Spadiga Mala, and Vedavyasa wrote it down when Sahadeva narrated the whole thing. This beautiful space of oneness, going beyond that matter and experiencing the oneness of consciousness, gives the greater dimension how we can experience that. That is why Bhagavan says, when you wear mala of 10,000 beads of the Rudraksh, always Bhagavan is filled in Rudraksh. That is because the Rudraksh have the power of storing the energy. Rudraksh and the gold are the only thing which can be put on the deity and put on you. And that holds all this greater energy. Same way the Spadiga holds the sound energy. And anything chanted or anything there, it holds that energy and it can be transformed. These greatest signs that again and again that the Pramanas are giving us, Bhagavan is giving us to make us understand there is something beyond just the matter that we live in. We are stuck with the impossibility. Bhagavan says impossibility is nothing but your fantasy. Dropping that fantasy and seeing the very nature that you are a possibility, simply you awaken to the higher reality. The Apta Pramana for consciousness over matter. Beautifully, the Nandanar, the greatest Nayanar, this is from Periya Puranam. Nandanar, he was singing and he was not allowed inside the temple. He is one of the greatest Nayanar. Once he went and asked his boss in that village that he had to go and see Nataraja, but he did not allow. And he said, only if you grow the whole field and the corn, the rice comes out, and only if everything is ready, you can go. You can't simply leave your work and go somewhere. You are a worker. So Nandanar goes and sings and falls in the field itself and prays that field you grow fully so that I can go and see Chidambara, Nataraja. And simply to the next day, the whole field is grown fully and all the weeds and all the whole farm is ready for harvesting. And seeing that, the person who's in charge, he just fell at his feet and said, you are ultimate and whatever space you are, please go ahead with whatever you're doing. And Nandanar is said to go to Nataraja and merge into Nataraja. Here, when he went to a Shiva temple in the South India, when he was not allowed to go inside the temple, he requests Nandi Bhagwan to move a little so that he can see the linga. And simply to his words, Nandi moved his way and Shiva gave the darshan. The greatest, this is the Shivaloka Radha temple in Tirupukar. Through the prayers, he moved the whole heavy Nandi. It's made of granite stone, and he moved it and he experienced the oneness with Paramashiva. All this, just an ordinary worker who has no intelligence, he was able to tap the highest intelligence. That knowledge is not the only intelligence, it is the intelligence how you exist as Paramashiva, that you can manifest anything as your reality, command over reality and manifest all the possibilities. Bhagavan beautifully speaks in Atma Pramana how he was sitting with Arunagiri Yogeshwara and he said very clearly that all that exists is one. All we understand is the body and the mind. If we say we are the body, then the body does not recognize us during the dream state or deep sleep state. We don't even know that where our body is. Somebody takes our bodies, we won't even know. Then what is that? We are body. Then we are not the body. If we are the body, we should know completely the whole thing. But we are not the body, and sorry for the technical glitch. If we are the body, continuously we should feel the body. But in the two states of our own life, we don't feel the body. Even when the death happens, the body does not cry, does not say, oh my God, why are you leaving? It's something like a vehicle. Then what are the senses? That is completely in the mind. If you're watching something, it is not your eyes is experiencing it. Your eyes actually send to your brain, and your brain is experiencing it. And all that you define is only the what you see and experience in the brain based on the knowledge that you have got it. You call it the color, you call it the senses, you call the emotion, you call everything. But even science cannot tell which nerve of your cell in the brain knows the color or knows the shape. It is just your perception that you are saying this is what it is. Then if you're not the mind, if you're not the body, then who is that who you are? Bhagavan beautifully says, that which you cannot forget, that which you cannot remember, but that which remembers you. The ultimate consciousness, Paramashiva, is who you are. Forgetting that and deluded into that, whatever worldly security, worldly things that we are engaged, when we little bit step out of it, we start experiencing the oneness with Paramashiva. We recognize the Paramashiva space, and when we are ready, simply Bhagavan says, whoever is in the Kailash Kotyad, I myself will manifest through them as myself, Sundareshwara Paramashiva, as our reality. Here you can see how Shakshi Pramana, they are rolling the coconut on the ground. That is what we are going to do. If you don't have a coconut, you can have a object, or you can have the Atmalinga or any other object which is not automatically rolling. It has a stability like the coconut. Because of the weight of the coconut, it cannot roll over by itself. But you can see here, just by chanting the Mahavakya, nobody is touching it, nothing is happening. It just stays and stays for a few minutes. And after that, it just rolls over by just consciousness over matter, by the third eye. Same here also, you can see it's a flat surface. There is no slope, there is nothing. And this coconut is very well placed, and there is no way of the coconut moving. But just through the consciousness over matter, you can try this during your puja. Keep a coconut and see how it is cracking down. The coconuts, the Balasans used to have so much fun in the courtyard just by cracking coconuts. Whichever coconut is there, they will go and crack it by third eye, no touching it. You know how hard it is to crack a coconut, and you need like a hammer or a stone, and you have to use a force. But just by the third eye, you can crack a coconut. You can keep coconut during the puja and see. Once I had it in my puja, and simply I saw a huge crack happen at the end of the puja. Simply to show that Paramashiva exists as real. All this greater science is again and again given to us to make us understand we are Paramashiva. There is nothing that we need to ask anything. Bhagavan says, even you are praying, you are me, Soham Asmi. So understanding that only when we are ready to receive, the receiver is ready, then the whole manifestation happens as our reality, as blessing. So Bhagavan is again and again preparing us to receive the ultimate consciousness as our reality. Now make sure the ground doesn't have any slope, and you can keep it in the surface. If you're keeping it on a tab, make sure the tab or the silicon is not vibrating. It should be completely switched off, and there is no app which is playing on that, and there should be no slope, so that you don't have any self-doubt, any self-denial, self-hatred, but you know purely Paramashiva is sitting with you and manifesting these powers. Let's sit straight, few minutes of meditation, and so much we can experience. If we sit just for meditation, so many thoughts keep coming. Bhagavan says, when you visualize, you bring Paramashiva, Sundareshwara Paramashiva in your third eye. All that greatest blessing, again and again, seeing everybody as Paramashiva, seeing yourself as Sundareshwara. Sit with 25 heads and 75 eyes and 50 hands. Enjoy the experience that you are Sundareshwara. Just mirroring with the quantum space. Now they speak about neuroplasticity, quantum space, mirroring neuron. But Bhagavan has given us such simple method. Just sit there, literally mirroring Bhagavan in the quantum space, chanting the Mahavakya continuously with a deep listening and deep surrender. surrendering what you know as your identity. You are Paramashiva. It's not your so-and-so experiencing Paramashiva. You are Paramashiva experiencing all that dreams. Whatever you're going through is dream. The same material that is made in the dream is also experienced now. Each one is completely deluded in the dream. Remember to wake you up and remember how you keep an alarm. Again and again, get back to listening. Listening is our alarm. Again and again, when we get back to listening and chant the Mahavakya, and in deep gratitude, if somebody posts $1 trillion to you, how much gratitude you would have? Much more than that, in deep gratitude and surrender space, in deep love. They have now proven that love changes your subconscious mind, and when you have the love with the ultimate source, what could happen? You bring down all the auspiciousness and abundance in your life. Let's start chanting the Mahavakya continuously from your navel center with a deep listening to experience consciousness over matter.
Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda 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 Paramashivoham. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Vani open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Vani open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nithyananda